Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative, and today we're here at the 2025 New York International Auto Show. And just like we do every year, we're going to be taking one big swoop of the entire showroom floor. And don't forget, we're going to be doing individual videos on each kind of section, the interesting cars, the interesting things that we see. But right now, we're kind of walking around. We're going to see what catches our eye. So this is going to be one long video of the entirety of this. And I'm kind of curious. So if you know anything about me, I've been in the auto industry since what? Has it been 15 years now? It's been a long time. But I live in New York now, so I've kind of fallen out of love with cars. In New York, you don't really need a car to do anything. In fact, I take public transportation, I ride a bike, but I still love coming to these events. And because we get invited to Media Day, I definitely want to showcase this for you, just in case you want to come here with friends, family, anybody after the Media Days. I believe that begins April 18th. But yeah, let's enjoy and let's see what catches our eye. All right, first section we're going to be walking into here. This is the Ford section. And let's see, all right, I remember last time we had a hideous color palette for the auto show, which was basically this kind of primer gray, and it looked terrible, and every single car seemed to have it. And this time I don't see it right now, so I think there's a chance that the entire industry has just kind of moved away from that color. For example, we have something that's similar to it, but this has a touch of green in it, so it's not exactly the same. It does have a nice shine to it, so this is something definitely interesting. Now, this is like the antithesis of what a New York car would be, something so gigantic, but this is something I could easily see myself going camping in. If I go back to the suburbs of Virginia, this is something that'd be extremely useful. And of course, we're going to be getting down to like all the specifics down the line when we cover these individually. So as you see, we see vehicles here that maybe come in color palettes that we not necessarily would get, but these are the most eye-catching color. Like, who would get a pickup truck in this type of blue unless maybe you lived at the beach? It's a nice small truck. It's a short truck, I'd have to say, especially in comparison to the F-150, which is, you know, like the classic big American truck. I'm not sure what kind of finish this is here. This is the Power Boost. And again, I have been lightly covering the industry here in these most recent years, so if I'm kind of missing something, that's on me. I just haven't been keeping up to date as much as I really should. All right, now this is something that really speaks to me. Not that it's a truck, but the color palette that they've used on this. A beautiful dark blue. I'll have to see exactly what color this is, but the little accents that they have here, the tremor marks, you can see that kind of like, it's not really gunmetal, it's almost like a matte, yeah, maybe it's a matte gunmetal with this kind of orangey yellow finish. I think it goes really, really well. I mean, we're under the best lighting that we possibly can have here. It's beautiful. I really like this. But yeah, let's see. We're definitely coming back to see this. This is the F-150 Tremor. And I really, really like this here. Now, we're going through a time where everything is increasing in costs. There's going to be tariffs, things that are made in other countries. There's a possibility of things being more expensive. So if I show you a price and you're checking down the line and that price doesn't match up with whatever you're seeing today, maybe it's higher. I mean, maybe it's lower. It's not going to be lower. Just think of that. For example, we look at this F-150 Lightning, which means this is an electric variant. This one is $82,360. Now, coming from somebody, if they were to buy this on their own, Electric, possibility. Pickup truck, no, not for me. But even in whatever configuration this is, a pickup truck made for work, 80-something thousand dollars is kind of just way out there. But this is maybe made for more of like companies buying. They would buy this, they would subsidize this, and maybe they would kind of lend these out, or, you know, have the workers use it, and they wouldn't see the sticker price on this. And of course, if you were financing this in some way, leasing it, it wouldn't really have that type of impact, but still, that's a lot. I just have to say that that is just a lot for a single vehicle just to be a functional pickup truck. But of course, that's going to have bells and whistles on it. What is this little thing here? A 2025 Maverick Lobo 4x4. Is this similar to the one that we saw over there? I didn't catch the name of it. I don't know what to think, and please tell me, what do you think of these here? Is that good? Is that a proper stylish take on kind of like the most basic wheel well? Is that for aerodynamics? I mean, if it's something where there's not going to be like little intervals like in a normal rim, I guess that is for aerodynamics. But on a pickup truck, where I think you're going to catch a lot of air right here, and it's kind of, I don't get it, but maybe it's something that's going to be catching on. For me though, kind of looking at it right now, it looks a little plasticky and cheap. It just doesn't seem like something that would resonate. But again, the more that things get adopted, the more you get used to them and they become standard. And then you look at it different and you're like, oh, okay, this is kind of like something that I've seen before. Now this is your classic, what is this, the convertible Mustang? I mean, what do you really say about something like this? Not something that we'd have here in New York, a convertible. I mean, no, we're not doing that. But I'm curious to see what they're pricing this one at here. This one is $47.55. And you can, oh, okay, that's interesting. You can actually see the different trim levels that we have here. The EcoBoost convertible starts at $40,000, so I believe this one starts at $40,000 here. Would you pay $40,000 for a convertible? I mean, it's a possibility. You definitely, again, you could finance these things different ways, leasing it or just financing this in general. But for a car, where the last car that I had was a Ford Explorer, a 2002 Ford Explorer, which I kept until, what was it? I can't even remember when I got rid of that. I got rid of that right before I moved to New York. So that must have been like 2015, 2016. And I think I sold that one for like $12,000. Maybe it had been at the time. I mean, I'd kept it in nice condition, so it went for a little bit higher than normal. But that's really, I don't know. I would not pay so much for a car. If anything right now, I'd kind of get like a beater car. If I parked it on the street where I didn't care if something major happened to it, that's kind of where I am personally, but everybody's going to be different here. Look at the all-new Mustang RTR. What makes this so exciting? The most exciting enthusiast-focused turbocharged Mustang ever. What do you guys think about matte finishes or matte decals on this? Does that work for you? I mean, any kind of nick and scratch will kind of show up a little bit more in this case, but maybe the pattern would kind of hide it. That is nice. I'm kind of feeling this. Never ever to purchase for myself, but as something that looks good in this kind of showcase environment, yeah, I think I'd be good with this. So here we have one of the Mustang variants. It's the Mach-E Rally, and we can kind of see it has that kind of rally shape, a little hatchback shape. And let's see exactly how much this one is going to be here. 52 starts at 39. And let's see, this is one of the new colors that I've seen here at the show. What do I think of this? I actually think that this is one of the more elegant in my mind. It's like kind of one of those Infiniti or Lexus colors, or even like the Lincoln colors from when my family had one back in the early 2010s. It kind of feels like a champagne color, which works, but for this car, something that's a little bit more sporty. Again, colors can be used many different ways, and maybe that's how it's seen right now. But for me, I don't know, that color, that seems a little bit more elevated, high-end for a different type of car than something called a rally, which is, that has sport connotations. Now, this is a beautiful color. We looked at the deep blue truck over there. Look at this stunning, shining blue. I want to see do they have the name of the color on here? They do not. But again, maybe you can scan that at home. You can find out more information here. This one starts at 39. This is another Mach-E, which I believe means the electric variant. And they are going for different rims/hubcaps in these. So remember, we saw the truck with basically flat, glossy piano black hubcaps or rims. And then we moved over to the Mach, which has a little bit more slits. Now we have, it's more open, but it has that piano black as well. Kind of removed from like the standard, maybe stainless steel, aluminum kind of look that we have. I'm not sure what to feel about that. I feel like, again, here it'd be scratched up and destroyed, but yeah. Let's see here. Ooh, a GT. Now this is one of the color palettes that I don't like at all. Anything that kind of doesn't have, I don't know, I would consider this, even though it does have some shine, some sparkle, as you can see here, we catch this in the light. To me, these look from far away like primer colors. They look unfinished in my eyes, and maybe this is just what people like right now, but for me, I never saw the appeal. Again, last year when they had that extremely matte gray with a mix of green in it, I thought that those were terrible, and those are actually the last 2 years. I haven't seen that, but I would not personally get something like this. It's a little bit understated in a boring way rather than, I don't know, just understated in general. Now this whole thing here, this is what I kind of aspire to get when I get my next vehicle, if I were to get a brand new full-priced vehicle, and it would be the Bronco line. This Bronco line, not that. I do not consider the Sport even a Bronco. It's just kind of like, in my mind, it should be its own separate thing, but I get why they want to carry the branding over. It's not for me. It's never been for me. But this is for me. Look at this beauty here. Color does it really well. I would not get this if I were to purchase, but I love looking at this. It is beautiful. This is the Badlands version. This one goes for 54,000, starts at 37. And wow, dude, look at this. A two-door. I would get a two-door. I would get a two-door. They would really have this set up. Most of the times, if we can kind of poke back here, I would have these chairs down. I would put these down. I would use that as storage. If I had friends, we were going on like a little road trip, I'd bring those out. We would have a little bit of space for luggage. For me, I don't like to carry a lot. I'm very minimal. I would force everybody to be minimal too, and we'd go in the two-door, and that is just a beauty. But you know what really, really catches my eye? It's this one here. I would get it in this color. And again, not necessarily with a four-door, because I like a little compact, Jeep-esque vehicle like this. But this is something that I aspire to get. The giant tires, completely non-functional in New York City, but again, if you leave the city and kind of just have this, look at the glow. Look at how this kind of very oh shoot, I forgot the word. It's just kind of an orangey, beautiful glow. I think it works really, really well. It's given me a little bit of like Halloween vibes. in real life. It looks a little bit more toned down in the camera, but this is beautiful. This is the Bronco Raptor. Take on the toughest trails at a high speed. Just look at this. Look at that. It's so pristine. It looks great. I know that for me personally, I probably wouldn't wash the car. I don't get washing it. Maybe the undercarriage just for like salt and other stuff like that. But I would kind of have it beat up, especially in the streets here. But look at how this looks. Look at, again, we are in prime lighting here at an auto show. And I think they do this car a service. Like, these tires will never be as shiny as they are here right now. Of course you can shine it and you can do all this stuff. I find that a little bit needless and like pointless, but that is something that I want. I want that at some point. I do want that. Now I want you to look at this, something that I aspire to, something I really like, and then I want you to look at something that they've slapped the Bronco name on and they've added sport. It's not something that I really like. It's a smaller SUV. I believe I had a friend who was possibly getting one of these. They said they're gonna get a Bronco. I was like, oh my God, you're getting a Bronco? And they said a Bronco Sport, and I was just like, not really a Bronco. Not really one in my opinion. 33 starts at 29. It's a little SUV. It kind of gives me Land Rover vibes. It just feels like something you could drive through the city, lower to the ground. I mean, especially in comparison to that. And oh, there's another. Oh, can you see that too? It doesn't it feel like a little Land Rover or Land Cruiser-ish in that kind of setup? But just entirely not for me. It's just, if I'm getting a Bronco, I'm getting that big, flashy one here. But this is something that actually caught my eye over here. This color palette is interesting, and I don't know what the significance is. This is the Strobe Edition. A Baja 1000 winning legendary name returns to the Ford lineup. I like vehicles that emulate that kind of metal that they had in like the 70s, where it just kind of looks like this metal paneling, flat paneling. It looks beautiful. And whoa, the front is matte black. I would get this. It would be immediately vandalized and stolen on the streets here. But for that week that I had it, I would be the happiest person on earth. And I'm now seeing that there are more Broncos here and down here. Oh man, look at that. Look at the beauty of this vehicle. And let's see if we can steal some of their light and get a better look at it. This looks beautiful. Wow. I want that so much. Not gonna get it, but you know, I want it. My parents do have a Ford Escape. We love it. It's a nice smaller SUV. Again, not something that I find genuinely interesting because we're looking for interesting cars that stand out. These are the ones that people will be purchasing regardless, whether there is an update, there is no update, there's whatever. This is just kind of what we have here. And by the way, I know we're lingering a little bit long. Maybe we'll be covering other sections a little bit quicker, but the Broncos are my favorite. Like, they are just by far my favorite. So I'm going to be covering this and maybe lingering again a little bit longer here, even if we're looking at just literally different color palettes on the Bronco. I like the black. I do not like the kind of toned red, orange, yellow on here. Just not personally for me, but it's beautiful. Oh, look at the rims. Look at the red accents on these here. That is beautiful. I don't like it, but it's beautiful, if you know what I mean. All right, let's take a look around here. And what I like is a vehicle that you can kind of mix and match, maybe have third-party accessories, or maybe have accessories from the manufacturer, but things that you can change the vehicle to make it more you, like a roof rack, side racks, change the interior, remove the roof, do so many things that will make it more personalized. And I think that's what they did really well with this, because you could get a standard traditional Bronco and change absolutely nothing, and maybe that is just you. Or you could go in, give it different paint jobs, different racks, doing whatever, just making a more functional vehicle for you. And that's just kind of, that would be, yeah. I love vehicles that are like that. For me, I ride a Super 73. I'm not sure if I recommend them or not right now. I don't know how their customer service is, but I love that they have such a backing from their own company and then from third-party manufacturers, where again, you can add storage bins, you can add just different things, again, to make it more you. And I love that, and I really do. All right, we're gonna be covering a little bit more here before we move on to the next section. This is another Mustang, yeah, Mach-E. And then what do we have here? The Mustang GTD. Street legal, but just barely. Looks cool. I could definitely see this in the suburbs. This would work. Somebody would be getting this. They would not use this as a functional vehicle, but they would get it for the look. Let's see, the 2025 Ford Mustang GTD makes history as the first car from an American automaker to complete a lap of the Nuremberg in less than 7 minutes. That's great, and you can actually see the time that it had right there. They've beefed this vehicle up visually. I have no idea what they did inside, but I think it looks good. Again, not for me, not something that I would personally go for at this point, but I've told you a million times, we're just in a different place here in New York City than I was in a place where you are more reliant on cars. All right, next we are here in Nissan. So we've touched a lot because I have basically, our family has had a Ford forever, not had a Nissan, but I've had friends that have had Nissans. And again, we're gonna be kind of going over this, maybe again, some sections a little bit quicker than others. This is the all new Armada Pro 4X. Standard big, gigantic SUV, functional for families, functional, you know, and I guess you get this color palette if you feel like, hey, I have a family, but I kind of don't want to feel like I have a family. Maybe, do they even make minivans anymore? Yeah, they do. Wait, no, is that one? No, that's just a crossover. Do they even make minivans anymore? I don't even know. I think they do. That's the 2025 Frontier. This is, again, the all-new Armada. The Nissan Murano. I think I've just heard the Murano name so many times in ads. It's just kind of been drilled into me. But you're standard here. Now, which one? This is the, is this the Nismo? No, it's the Nissan Z. What do I think about this thing here? I believe that they have kind of done away with the detail that makes it more aggressive. They've kind of returned it to this kind of almost, it's not flat paneling, but it is less detailed than I would like to see in a car like this. It's like a little bit of a weekend driver, a more casual kind of weekend driver, in my opinion. I do like the back more than the front, because I think it's a little bit more boxy. I like the black tones here and here, but the front just seems a little bit boring. I feel like there could be a little bit more. By the way, I'm about to sneeze. If I sneeze, that's just on me. But yeah, the front is just not exactly what I would be thinking of for a Z. I mean, I grew up kind of seeing Zs everywhere, and it just doesn't, it's a little bit too sloped and not enough distinct detail on here. All right, now this is the reason why I brought this giant selfie stick that we have been recording this on, so that we could see things that are kind of up there. So we're gonna be taking the camera, and I have my little mic on so you can hear me, but we can actually see this car. We could see inside if we really wanted to, but I like that. Let's walk around. They try to keep these cars away from us, but I find different ways to get right in there. And I think at the end, we're gonna be kind of extending the selfie stick all the way up and doing like a giant bird's eye overview of this. I don't know if there's an opportunity to do the same thing again. We have a lot more show to go around, but yeah, that's the only one on stilts. I remember the kicks from the all-new Nissan kicks. If I am not mistaken, they had the kicks here last year on a basketball court. I think they did. Maybe, oh yeah, it definitely was, because in the back they have pigeons. This is kind of like the New York-esque vehicle because it's small, it has that kind of space for storage. This is kind of like the most functional vehicle that you could get in New York. And that's a pigeon, that's another pigeon. For some reason, the Armada looks a little bit smaller than it did when it was on somewhere over there. I forget, I think it's that. Yeah, it feels a little bit smaller next to it. It's not a small vehicle at all, but it just perceives that way? Yeah. And the Murano here again. I feel like I do need to cough something out, so again, sorry if this feels a little bit different. All right, let's go back. We're gonna cover, again, we're gonna be doing this specifically, so if we're covering something a little bit too quickly, do not worry about this. Let's see here. Pathfinder, very familiar with that name. Rogue, definitely familiar with that name. Oops, sorry guys. Nice little roof rack on here. This could be something I could see functional for little getaways. I've been wanting to go on camping trips. I've been very reliant on the Metro North, but if I had this, put in parking, put in storage, and then kind of just go have that little roof space for a kayak, for something just very specific. I could definitely see that with spring here and summer coming. All right, we see the kicks here. We are now at the Nissan Versa, a name that we've heard basically forever at this point. Was this the one that do you remember in Heroes when they were kind of forced to integrate, they always talked about the Nissan Versa? Was it that vehicle? It may be. I can't remember at all. The Sentra, we know that name for sure. We have another one of these kind of ugly primer colors, which I am not a fan of. And new, the forest green primer color, which again, I am not the biggest fan of. I'm not a fan of at all. I don't personally like it. But at the other end, we have something that looks like a kind of a white disco ball with a little bit too much of shimmer. So it's just basically me. Nobody can appease me because it's either too little or too much. But if we get close here, we can see how that shines. Which one is this? This is the Aria. All right, we are moving on to Chevrolet. We're gonna start over here because eventually we're going all in that direction. So let's cover all this. Let's start with the Corvettes. I used to see these in the suburbs all the time. This was like the budget supercar that people would get, because at the time it would be about like 77,000, 80,000, and people would be like, okay, I can pull that and kind of look cool. But let's see how much these go for today. This one is 94. And let's see, we've had options on there. So this would be, actually it's about the same. About 81, 82 as a standard. And I've seen them priced like that, although I do think they used to start at 75. What do you guys think about the Corvette? It's made to be loud. It's made to be angular. In my mind, I know it's changed, and I know things changed, but the DNA is the same from a Corvette from 2012, in my opinion. It feels exactly the same. Which may mean they found something that really works, or maybe it's become a little bit stagnant. Now for me, I do like an all-black vehicle, but I believe if you get kind of, quote, a supercar or budget supercar, I would probably go with the color. If I went for the Ford Bronco, all black, piano black, glossy coat, but with this, I feel like the details are kind of getting lost in just the blackness. I know that there are kind of these, again, that blue primer look that I'm not a big fan of. It just doesn't work for me. It's a little bit too Batmobile and kind of hides the details that I want to see. And then on the opposite side, you have a color that sometimes there are showroom colors to show off the car, for it to stand out. And then I think there are borderline colors that work in real life. This is one of the colors I think that would work in real life. In real life, this orange looks a lot more toned down because we are under the brightest lights here. The front end, in natural light, looks a little bit less bright that it should. It's definitely saturated. In the back here, it looks really good and shiny and orange, but you're never going to get this kind of lighting outside. So I think this is a showroom color. It's not necessarily something that, I don't know, would work outside. Remember, if you get this, you're going to be with a lot of gray days, because that's what, a third of the time that's what we have to go through, because cars are outside. This is a nice little blue, a little bit too, what is in this? There's some purple tones or lavender tones. Not a fan. Personally not a fan. You have your classic, this is the first one we actually looked at. This is the classic red. I would say there's a touch of orange in here. For me, it's kind of feeling like ketchup, and I do love ketchup. It's torch red. That's the name that we have here. That's your standard Corvette. In my mind, when I think of a Corvette, I think of it in either, this is weird, I think of it either in white or in yellow. And if you know, like maybe the year that I'm thinking of, the type of car that I'm talking about. All right, we're passing by some pickup trucks. This is the Colorado. We can see something that's a little bit made for business, or maybe like emergency services. This is the ZR2 family of trucks. Big, giant pickup truck. We have that here. In the back, we have little additions that, see a little camping setup here? People would imagine that this would be kind of like a good setup. And maybe if you had a pickup truck, yes, then you would then get that addition, but I would, of course, more go for the SUV, the crossover, and then get something like that on top. For me, it's just like, I don't know, are people actually doing that? Escape off-road. What is this big grounded truck that they're talking about? We're gonna get to that here in a second. Let's see, what do we have here? It feels like an electric vehicle. It is an electric vehicle, and it is this is an Equinox. Why does this look so small compared to what I thought it was? Okay, a little Equinox. This basically stole VW Bus's color palette and then put it on an Equinox, in my opinion. I do not think that this color combination will do well. My personal opinion. This is more standard classic. This is the wine red. It's not the sporty red. It's more of like again, a family type of vehicle. It does do nicely in camera, and it does really remind me of wine, which would dehydrate me right now, and I'm not getting wine. This is another Blazer EV, and here we have a police General Motors. I guess this is the one that they're pitching to precincts. I think right now New York is Ford, basically. I think they're all Fords. I'm picturing a police vehicle. I can't picture the exact like make and model for whatever reason. All right, so we have the Silverado here. Classic name for a classic truck. Silverado EV, which if you've heard of anything, they're moving away from requiring electric vehicles to come out by a certain date. So maybe these things will not be as big as people thought, because they were being pushed to be electric vehicles. And you know, I personally think it'd be great to just be able to charge this everywhere. It's kind of hard to do it in the city. What is this one called? The Bright Drop 600. Oh, you could live in there. A little shower, little bed, little kitchen. If I ever get evicted from my home, I could just move in here. I smell French fries. Somewhere I smell French fries. All right, so we're going all the way down just so that we can go to the other section of Chevy and walk back out into the main floor. I do smell French fries. Huh. Anyway. See, I like things like this. You can add like little additions. I don't know what that's for. That's a shovel. I like these things. A wench. All right, so let's see exactly what we have here. More of your standard large SUVs. This is the Tahoe. Standard. We have this here. How much do Tahoes go at this point? $89,000. Options 18. So you can get one for about 72 starting. I mean, for vehicles at this point, we know the prices are going up in general. I don't understand people purchasing vehicles at this price, at any price above maybe like $30,000, but I know that's me tied into older pricing. Even large vehicles like that don't need a headrest iPad. I don't need all of that. I need something that will drive, and I'll bring an iPad. That's kind of, I need something that will get beat up, because a car will get beat up. It'll never be as pristine as it looks in the showroom when you buy it. Just remember that. And this is, all right, so this is a color that I dislike on two different levels. This has that primer kind of color. It also has like an Easter tone to it. Not a big fan of that. I like more saturated colors, like the Tahoe that we see over there. A beautiful kind of wine red. I think they've done that very, very well. But would a family actually purchase that, or is that something to aspire to? I think people could purchase that. Not in the city, of course, but suburbs. Classic white. Are white cars still basically rental cars at this point? I think so. That, or this one has like a very shiny coat to it. A little bit more, shoot, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Please comment that down below, because I've completely forgotten. But it has that little sparkle, that shine to it. More than that, I can't remember. I'm not even going to pretend to remember this. We have a Colorado, a small little truck. We have the Trailblazer, a small little crossover there. Is this? This. I think that they may be the same. Is this also a little Trailblazer? Trax. No, this is a Trax. So this one, I believe, has a lower roof line than that one. More functional. You don't need it higher, in all honesty. You're sitting down. Are they going to have like a little store here? Let me know if they do have a store when it's open to the public. What's this one? That's another Trax in that kind of nice wine red that I do like. I do not like baby blue. That comes out a really different color in camera. In real life, that looks like a true baby blue. It looks a little bit more stunning in camera. Don't be manipulated by that. It does not look like that. Standard white, standard kind of gunmetal with sparkles, true black. And I like these colors. These wine red colors with like a black top, I think looks really nice. All right, so we're moving from Chevy, and where are we going? We're going to Porsche. Porsche is next. And we've been doing this for 40 minutes. We haven't covered that much. I think this is probably going to be about a 2-hour coverage, and at some point I hope we get some water because my mouth is feeling dry. Only at 40 minutes. And this is our first run around, so we got a lot. There seems to be a presentation over there. We're not going there yet. And I prefer not to be in any kind of presentation. I just like walking around. A T-hybrid Porsche. We have our Lamborghini from Lamborghini of Manhattan. We have a Lotus. Now I remember Lotuses coming in like a yellow color, but this is almost like a highlighter yellow-green color, which I'm not sure if it captures properly in camera. Yeah, it does. That's a highlighter green. That is standout. That's safety green or safety yellow, however you want to see it. That's eye-catching. No one's ever going to hit you unless they really want to. More Lotus. Oh, Lotus standard crossover vehicle for a luxury brand. Just trying to get that market up. Is that really called Sacrilege Motors? You're kidding me. Maybe because it's a sacrilege to change older vehicles in some... Actually, that's a... So for this, I love the design of this. I entirely hate the color. But again, I love the design of this. Color is terrible. How do you... Koenigsegg. I think that carbon fiber-esque look is over. It's been over for a long, long time at this point. Painted carbon fiber, yeah, still. Just get a true coat, guys, at this point. Of course, unless it's completely functional, then it's a completely functional look. What is over here? We have, I think this must be, yeah, another one from Porsche. And then a Lamborghini. And yeah, they're having some sort of presentation over there. I can hear it somewhere over there. This is the meat of things over here. I would consider this one of the side portions. This is the meat of everything. Usually Subaru is the best designed section because they really make it feel like you're outside. Rimace. Not Grimace, but Rimace. I know I do like the gunmetal, but it's a little bit toned down. It's almost in that primer territory for me. This, I dislike a lot. It literally looks like somebody stepped on this car. I want you to see at the level that I am kind of looking at this right now. Let's see if you can see it. It's a very flat car. It's incredibly flat. Okay. This is beautiful. GTO engineering, wow, they've done a beautiful job at keeping this. Whew. That is nice. From Manhattan Motor Cars, that is a beautiful, beautiful vehicle. This one here, I do not like the primer, do not like the baby blue. Stripe is okay. Lights are interesting. Lights are very small inside that housing, which is all, ooh, that's an interesting take. Okay. Don't like the color palette, but the design more, I think that works. And that's from Tedson Motors. More classic, just crossover SUV from a luxury manufacturer. that orange does glow. In real life, it does glow because we are kind of surrounded by spotlighting. So this area is dark, even though the camera is trying to compensate and brighten things up. But when light hits this nice white daylight, wow, that really does come out. Purple is one of my favorite colors. This is not the right take of a royal purple. I would bring it a little bit more dark for me personally. It's just a little bit, it looks dusty. Do you see this here? For some reason, even with perfect light on here, it looks like there's a cast of dust over the entire car. I'm not sure if that shows up properly on camera. And again, this is one of my least favorite colors of all time. It's that kind of standard sand gray primer look, which feels unfinished. And maybe that is perfect for you. Actually, this one has a touch of that, maybe a champagne feel to it, but it's still in that vein where I would not choose. Actually, wait. I have not been a fan of anything that has like primer gray with a touch of green, but this one has a touch of that champagne, which kind of changes this. It's almost in some lights a silver and almost in some lights an off-white. I may have to come back to this and see if this is something a little bit more me, but let's see. There seems to be a presentation going on here, and it's not something we're necessarily going to capture here while we walk around, but let's kind of walk through. Let's walk through everybody's shot, see what they have underneath this covering. And again, Subaru they steal the show every single time with the section because it feels like you're in a park. It feels like you're in a forest. They do a great job. I love it. Yeah, they still have the moving ground, and I think that is beautiful. You could basically film a Star Wars TV show on this. I love this setup. It's great. All right, I do not want to cut through here too quickly. Let's go and actually take a look at the cars while we're here. Would I consider this the gray primer color? No, because I think the one that I dislike a lot has a touch of green to it, which does not work. This is another one of, I do like red, but this one in real life and at certain angles, it seems like it has a layer of dust over it. It is not a saturated red. It is, whoa, it is like a primer red. Interesting. Kind of the gunmetal shiny that we have here, a classic. And actually that looks good in the shape that we have it here. That is nice. All right, so somebody's filming something here. All black. Again, all black for a boxy vehicle works for me. All black on a swoopy kind of hatchback, I don't think works exactly for what they want out of this, just in my opinion. And by the way, if they do start that, I am going to run over there just to see if I can catch something, but we're doing like the full show, so this is gonna have some random moments in it too. Now this has that primer color, and I want to make sure this registers properly on camera, but it does have that champagne type of finish to it, which is pulling me in the direction of something I would like, but for this type of car, it does not work. It's a little bit, again, I think if you go for any type of champagne tone, tinge, whatever you talk about, that doesn't work. This color, though, does work for an outdoor vehicle that kind of raises the elegance of this. It's a Subaru. It's a touch of green, touch of gray, but it kind of elevates it because it's a little bit more metallic than that. This one shines like like a disco ball here, and I cannot remember what the type of finish that is that gives it that glow. I have shoes that look like this. They're kind of unique. What is this? The Trail Seeker in a classic blue. Interesting little matte black port. You know what really, all right, for me, and this may be something that I'm thinking here, they have a matte black finish here around the tires, the rims, and up here on a scoop, but they have a piano black finish here. So you get two types, and you know, with prototype cars, they're meant to be eye-catching in a good way and a bad way. In a functional color combination, no, this doesn't work at all. But for something that makes you question what exactly is going on here with this prototype car, it is very, look how much energy this guy has. I've been monotone here for the last 50 minutes, and I can't imagine being more energetic than this. Kudos to him, because I don't have that right now. Not at all. All right, let's go back. Let's finish the loop, and hopefully, again, we catch that. What time is that going to be happening? If that happens at 12, that's a little bit too late. I'll be somewhere else, but if it happens in the next 2 minutes, that would be great. All right. We have more prototype vehicles, and again, they're doing this kind of, no, they're not doing the mix. This is just me. I thought that this was another mix of matte and glossy, but it's matte and matte. Okay, that's more doable. That's a little bit more safe. But you know what? Now that I think about it, for a prototype vehicle, just be eye-catching. And wow, do you remember the section that we were in before where it was basically just me and like 2 other people? Now we are getting so many more people here because it's about 11:30. People are starting to wander in, they're starting to come in. So it may be a little bit harder to view things, but that's why we have the giant selfie stick, which we will go over people. And oh, this would actually be great if I were to record that presentation. Again, I'm not doing that. I know I'm not doing that right now. That's okay. Classic foresty green on a classic outdoorsy car. Ooh, look at these little really gold metallic portions. Wow, they kind of lock the rack, and I do like that. That's interesting. Long live our national parks. Subaru is the largest corporate donor to the National Park Foundation and has provided over $82 million to organizations working to conserve our national parks. If you know anything in the political landscape, parks need help. This is great what they're doing. I firmly back this because I don't get to go to national parks enough. And oh my God, there's dogs here. There are little dogs, big dogs maybe. Oh, look at this. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to walk to the end here in Kia and kind of just spiral, not mentally, but we're just going to spiral around, and we're going to try and capture everything. Again, if you miss if you missed me saying this before, we will be covering the most interesting cars individually in their own videos, but this is kind of like the general walk around. Look at this. What do I think about this? This is more of a matte color than I've ever seen. It's almost a matte gray rather than a matte black. And with this, you can see a lot of these details. Would I ever purchase this for myself? No, but look at the beauty of this. Wow, gigantic scoop on the back. Wow, that is impressive. I wish we could capture the light here a little bit better, but yeah, it's okay. I think this is aggressive in a way that makes you really want to look at it. Never purchase, but just be like, how did they do? Like, one of my favorite things is they've gone from having your traditional swoopiness to a hard cutoff right here, which almost looks like the end of a Lego brick. And I think that's done really, really well. All right, we're going to Kia. Going to the back of Kia, moving up, and we'll figure it out. We're gonna walk around. So what's this? I think this is more, okay, that's their media stuff. I don't really want to go there. The new Kia EV9 Nightfall Edition, another edition off a car. We're just going to be walking around again. I see a gold car. That's eye-catching. Let's see exactly what this one is here. This is the EV6, the GT line all-wheel drive. And it has won an award. Which award? Compact SUV 2024. Congrats. So this is the new Nightfall Edition, and you get cool little, you're walking on this, it's an LED board. So the car has been lit from the top and the bottom. That's nice. Ooh, and I like this effect over this, which one is this? This Kia, oh, this is an EV9 as well. But look at the lighting effect above it and the way it reflects on the car. Oh, and there's banding because they're LED lights. But look at the way it's kind of like making this car go through hyperspace. That's cool. I really do like that. Good choice. All right, here we are with a beautiful little golden car. What car is this? Is this also an EV6? We're gonna walk around. All right, in camera, this is showing up a little bit more bright than, shoot. It's showing up warmer in real life. It's more of an orange cast rather than the yellow cast that is showing up here. And maybe this will show up differently on your screen, your computer screen, or whatever, but in person, I would say it looks better than it does in camera. Now we go to one of my least, I hate this color. This is that classic primer gray color that has become popular at showcases over the last few years. It looks even more gray in camera, and in person, it has that kind of ugly green undertone to it. It's not something that I'm a fan of, but apparently it does well at showcasing a car, or else they would not have done it for the last 3 years. But also, please stop doing it, because it's terrible. A nice, beautiful lit setup here from Kia. They've done a great job. Let us go. We're not done with Kia, so we have to go in that direction eventually. And again, I hope that there's water somewhere because I am drying out pretty quickly. All right, I was asking, do they even make minivans anymore? And is this a minivan? Is it? It is, right? The Carnival Hybrid SX Prestige. How much is a minivan right now? Starts at 40, goes to 52, and of course you can go higher because you can add on many different things. For families, yes. For storage, yes. For that type of functionality, yes. For people moving, yes. But then again, you could also do that in a large SUV. Do you need something like this? With what they've done with like the under seat storage and a bunch of other compartments, yes, that makes sense. But I think, I mean, there's a reason why SUVs and crossovers have become like the new family movers rather than a gigantic minivan like that. They're just, you know, they're not as popular or as functional all around. This is the Sportage. The Telluride SX Prestige, Sportage X-Line, and no offense, but some others. Look at this. This thing is, all right, so when the world goes to hell and we have to escape, this is the futuristic vehicle that we will have. You're gonna take your family, your cat or your dog, you're gonna take them out, you're gonna have a lot of space, and you'll kind of live on the road in maybe like a Mad Max type of world. Look at these tires. Look at this incredible finish on here. It's futuristic. This is definitely going to be a prototype. What is this? Do you see these like little, like what is that? All right. This is why we have the selfie stick. Do you see that finish on there? Please somebody tell me what the functionality of that is, other than maybe just looking cool. There's a possibility it's literally just there to look cool. But when I talk about, oh, and look at the render behind it. Is it the Weekender? Wakanda? Oh, no, it's not that. It's the Weekender. Look at that. When I talk about I want my vehicle to be functional, if I were living out of it, this is a functional vehicle. You're going to drive this around. You can live and sleep in that portion up there. You can actually live during the day here with a little table and chairs. This is something that the stylization of this is extreme, but the functionality of this, if this is a dedicated sleeper, a dedicated camper, that is something I find really interesting, I have to say. We have a K4 GT in a nice red. We're not going to get in this guy's shop, but we have the slam dunk Kia over there. And I think what Mac McClung actually went over the car rather than just over the hood that Blake Griffin did in 2012, 11, maybe, I'm not really sure. Kia does a great job at just making everything bright, making everything kind of cool, techie, not nerdy, but techie, maybe borderline nerdy. Oh no, there's a winch there too. I don't know what these little things are for. Oh, and there's a faux solar panel on top. This is smart. It's not going to be a thing ever, but it's smart. All right, you can see in the distance Subaru. If I had to say, and I'm not checking a calendar because that would be way too useful of me to do, but I would say that their presentation probably starts at noon, and we can just kind of go from there. We're probably not going to be around there for it. That's okay. Right now, we are here at Toyota. Toyota for me is safe. It is standard. People are going to buy these cars no matter what. They're going to see whatever's introduced, whatever's improved for the year. They're just going to buy it because it's functional, because it's reliable, because it's just always been around. So for me, when I kind of walk through here, it's not something that I find very eye-catching. It's just like, I feel like I'm at a Toyota showroom. It feels good. People are liking this, but for me, it's just not something that I find truly interesting. Nothing is really catching my eye. Of course, we have something like this, like it's a Metz, so that sucks. It's a wrapped car, but does that really matter? Not really. Let's see if we can find something that's actually functionally cool, and that color is actually catching my eye. Let's take a look here. What is this? This is...
You can definitely rip it, but man, if you want to pull it back...
The GR86. Something feels weird about this floor. It feels spongy. Anyway, color is absolutely eye-catching. This is beautiful. This is the small car that okay, this is cool, but this is even better. Look at the finish on this car. If a car was a gun, this would shoot everybody. This is incredible. The finish, the little red accents on it do so well. Oh my God. I love this. Would I ever buy it? Again, absolutely not, but look at how easily, look at how many fingerprints there are on this. That's just kind of what this is. This is, again, something to aspire to. This is beautiful. Fingerprint magnet, but my God, it really shows the details well. Again, we're under perfect lighting here in a showroom atmosphere, but my God, this is beautiful. I know the yellow caught my eye from there, but this, let's take a look. I love this. How much is it? I'm not gonna get it, but just how much is it? There's no pricing, all right. Look there. Scan this to learn more. So scan this, future me, scan that so we can actually take a look at the info of this. But this is what I'm talking about. When we revisit cars on a car-by-car basis, we're coming back to look at this. Does this look good, as good in camera than it does in real life? That's cool. I love that. What else do we have here? Football stuff. Crossover SUV. What is this? Did someone hit the car? Oh no, they just opened a door. I thought they hit it and I'd be upset. Highlanders. And I guess here we can play a little game, a Tacoma toss to win. Possibly not doing that right now. It's possibly just being waited for not the media days, but for the public days. Maybe they don't even have prizes at this point. But like, yeah, this is RAV4s, this is Highlanders, that's a truck. It's bright. I love the way that they've designed this with little footballs everywhere. And I think those are real leather footballs. Why would you go to that effect? Yeah, those are the traditional leather footballs. That's more expensive than the ones you can find in like Target. So good for them, although they're probably gonna reuse them in some case. But again, they had one car that stood out and screamed and just, that said, look at me. The rest of these are cars that are going to sell themselves. They don't need special like showcasing. They don't need wraps. They don't need any of this. These cars will just sell regardless. So Toyota, at least in my opinion, every single year they play it safe and they have one or two things that are just like things that you have to look at, things that are special looking. Maybe that's not even functional more than like the traditional car, but God, that was so beautiful. I wish we are going to be spending a lot of time with that in its personal vehicle, in like the little video that we'll be doing. We're going to get super close in, we're going to go inside the doors, we're going to do all of that. That's exciting to me. All right, I think we've done all of Toyota. We're gonna go over here and yeah, why not start with Genesis and maybe mentally spiral around here. Where's Infinity? Infinity is always here and they always have drinks. It's not even noon, so we're not drinking anything right now. We're not doing that. But anyway, we're here at Genesis. Interesting. Welcome to Genesis. Hospitality, Genesis owner's gift, cell phone charging, enter win sweepstakes, race challenge, Genesis collection, Genesis Magma Racing. I guess that's a type of racing. I love the vibe that Genesis gives off. They have their little coffee spot, their little drink spot. I think they do it well every single year. They really section it off in almost like this home or private event area. I like the way they do this. And I do like the styling of the cars. If I were to get something of a luxury, faux luxury kind of look of a car, mid-tier, I don't even know what you call these because they're not like super cars, I would probably get something like this. If I wasn't gonna get just a beater of a car, park it on the street and hope that it wasn't vandalized every single night. But I just love the finishes of these. And again, great lighting will always showcase these cars the best. But look at this. That color reads really well in camera and in real life. I think that majority of these, even like the standard white, looks great here. Even this kind of like dark silver metallic looks beautiful here. And you know what's different? And I think this is unique to Genesis. If you see the color of the lighting, we have general kind of like maybe daylight. And then we have a lot cooler lights here. What's different is they add an orange hue to it. Maybe that is what's doing it. Maybe that's the visual trick that they're having to kind of add. Yeah, it is. So if you can see, here we have cool lighting. On the hood we have that kind of daylight. And on here you can see an actual orange glow. And hey, they're doing something right. They're doing something right. I'm very happy every time I see a vehicle here.
You know who you're looking for?
I'm happy. All right, this is the Genesis Grand Equator Concept. A matte vehicle. What do you think of this? Long nose. Little swoop here. Interesting. Does it have enough detail? I know this is a concept. I would like it to be a little bit more detailed in this. It's reminding me, and in probably the worst possible way, about what Jaguar is doing with their undetailed cars. And we have an iPad child over here. But I don't know, it's not really working for me. I love the wraparound lights. I think that works. Oh, we can stand here. Oh, I thought we couldn't. That does, I think this looks really good here, but the rest of the car, I don't know. It looks aggressive. The closer that I do get, it does look aggressive. And I'm very happy with this. Yeah, I'm getting happier the more I'm looking at, oh, the front though looks unfinished. Completely unfinished. And having this cluster of lights be a different type than this, no, that does not really work for me. Anyway, let's look at other cool, eye-catching vehicles. This is something that we're never gonna buy, but it's beautiful seeing these cars this close. And by the way, for the people coming for the non-media days, they're gonna have this little setup here so you'll be able to race and maybe crash your car in some grass, do other fun stuff. This is fun. I like the Genesis area. They do a great job at kind of mixing the vibes here. And what's enter here? See, we can sit down here. What are these little boxes that people have? I want to ask. Excuse me.
Yeah.
What are these boxes I see people carrying around everywhere?
So I think it's a miniature. They did like a miniature of a piece of land. Are you familiar with Danny Cortez?
Wait, kind of, but no. I'll have to Google it later.
He does miniatures of like New York.
Oh wait, yes.
Okay.
It's one.
I think it's one of his.
Really?
Yeah. There were only 50.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I have seen people carry. I know that person now because he does like little trash cans and other things.
Yeah, he's here.
He is?
Yeah.
Which section?
Toyota.
Toyota.
Yeah, and he has
Oh,
a
I must have
miniature
missed
in
it.
the back of a Toyota, and that's the whole kind of like.
I gotta look at that.
Yeah, no, he was really cool. We were like, oh, you're that guy. And he,
Yeah.
Like, hugged us. It was,
Oh, that's sick. All right, I'm gonna try and take a look. Thank you so much, though.
yeah.
So if you're not familiar with Danny Cortez, he does do a bunch of like New York things, like a trash can or a post office box or just whatever, but he makes little miniatures of it. He kind of leaves it around, gives it, sells things, but now I'm kind of upset. The first 50 people got something from him. I would like to be in one of those first 50 people. I was probably just yapping away and just walking around. Okay, that's all right. That's all right. All right, so here we have another matte finished car, but I think this one does it much better. You can see the kind of details on the side that kind of mimics like a BMW stripe. This is done really well. The lighting, of course, always will help. And maybe matte is not the color you would get in real life because it would show damage and dings a little bit more, but to showcase this car in the light that they are choosing here, I think that this is a good choice. This is one of those aspirational cars that you would kind of question, should I get this? When in probably the end choice, it would probably be a no, but it would definitely make you pause for a second. That one is really well done. Ooh, and I really like this kind of, it's a dark blue, but it's an off blue. Maybe with a little bit of green in it. That looks beautiful. Okay, I'm a fan of this. All right. We're here now in Hyundai, which goes from here to here. I believe maybe they're about to have a presentation, or maybe just had one, I'm not really sure. But let's take a look at exactly what they have here.
Go say hello to me.
Classic standard large SUV. Oh, they return here with the terrible primer color. This is the color that I hate. And just as a comparison, this is kind of a, in my mind and in my eyes, an unfinished, unrefined color. And this is more of the standard silvery with a glint in it. It works a little bit more as a standard car that maybe people would buy. Although that one looks a little bit too metallic, a little bit too silvery. And this one has this kind of undertone of a blue that just doesn't really work. More for me, I would go for a darker color, maybe this kind of darker gray one. I would not go for a white. I think that would be a little bit too dinged up and it would get a little bit dirty easily in real life. Let's see what they have here in Hyundai. Hyundai Home, a little solar power sample, wall charger, energy storage system. That works. So kind of keeping you off the grid. Maybe if you were running from the law and lived in the forest, that would help. What is this? Looks very calm and comfortable over there. Hyundai collection. Little things from Hyundai, maybe if you want to purchase. And I think this is part of the racetrack that they have here. Oh, it is.
Do you want to ride?
Oh, not today. I'm just taking a look, but thank you. So if you are here on the regular days, you can kind of just like take a little loop around. And it's always fun. It's always fun to see cars moving around. Just as, oh, and I didn't record this yet, but Jeep does their like gigantic showcase of a big mountain. You can kind of drive over that, or probably a professional does it while you're in the passenger seat. This one, I do believe that you can drive yourself. Is that a regular person? I think so. I don't know. It could be just one of the little helpers that they have there. And that is kind of like a faux little art gallery. If I wanted to take a nap later, maybe I'll head over there. All right, so here we have the all-new 2026 Palisade Hybrid. Again, classic. I think we passed this car back when we first opened this section. Oh, this is a green. Why did I think this was like a black color? That's more of a black color. But then we go for the more like eye-catching, auto show specific colors here in this kind of what, brown with a tinge of orange. Oh, it is. Wait, no, that's the lighting again. I forgot that they add a little bit of orange lighting to everything. It does do really well to sell these vehicles because, again, you have your standard white, your daylight, and now an added, oh, and it's rotating too. So it's catching in different ways. That's a good effect. And I'm not really sure why other sections don't do that more. All right, let's finish out Hyundai here, and then we're gonna go to, I believe, Lucid. Oh, and there's Acura too. And again, this is something I always miss. Where's Infiniti? I missed it last year until the very end, but if I had to say, I don't think Infiniti is here. Let's look at these up close. That's cool. Imagine they turn this on right now, I'm just like disintegrated. All right, so we're passing through the rest of Hyundai here into more of their, I guess this is a sport color in their opinion. Although for me, it's kind of like wine red. I like this. And they are polishing this very well. This is a Kona. And again, if you're here on the regular days, you can come and do like a little test drive, just as they were doing in Genesis. Hey guys. And that's gonna be something fun. They're gonna have a lot more for people to do on the public days. So don't worry. That's that baby blue that I'm not a big fan of. I don't want to get in this guy's shot. Not a big fan of the baby blue. Even less like that kind of matte finish. All right, so baby blue Hyundais. Let us move on to Lincoln. Lincoln is a brand that my family and I have had for years. We do Lincolns and Fords, not just because we're so like tied into that brand, it's just for the past few years we've really liked it. I think we have a Kia now as well, but Lincolns have always been great to us. Lincoln has, let's say, oh, this is kind of a small section for Lincoln this year. Of course, anything can change year by year, but it's a little bit of like a more condensed, generalized lighting setup, where I think something like a Genesis, a Lincoln, not Acura, something different, an Infiniti would have more of like spot lighting. Generalized lighting is not something that I would really see. What is this? Lincoln Digital Scent. What the hell is a digital scent? All right, we're setting the camera here. Let's see what a digital scent is. Cloud Balsam. Wait, let's just see. Okay, woodsy and light. Let's see if Mystic Forest is any different. That's much more airy. It is kind of mystic-y. Twilight Embers. I don't really smell the smokiness. I would imagine embers means smoky, but it's not really. Let's try one last one. Sunlight Retreat. Ooh, that's kind of like a little bit more creamy of a scent. That's interesting. I don't know why they call them digital scents, but whatever they choose to do, not bad scents. Now again, every color of vehicle that we have here has the same color finish, and I want to know exactly what this one is. What color did they use? Pristine White Metallic 3C. Oh, that's exterior, yeah. I thought it would be like a different name, in all honesty. I thought it would be a more specific name in kind of tuned to the way that they named these perfumes or colognes. Interesting. I do love the finishes of this, but at this point, there's nothing that's really standing out and calling and being like, oh, this is something that you should really, really look into. Unlike Genesis, where they had their kind of, their concept, their cars that you really want to stand out with those matte blue finishes, a little bit underwhelming. We'll figure this out. We're gonna loop in some way. All right, we have Maserati. Your standard color that you would purchase, your standard color for an auto show, which does look really, really good actually, has an undertone of purple to it. So for this one, I like this type of a blue finish. Not such a big fan of this kind of, and I always forget, this kind of purple, lavender, blue finish that changes in the light. I would think about buying this. This is an eye-catching color, but it's not something that I would necessarily take another look at. And then classic black. Is it black or is it? Yeah, there's no other tint in there that is black. And again, if a car is kind of swoopy like that, I don't think it's a great way to show like the little details that it has, because as you can see, the matte colors show it much better. I think the white catches it better. I always buy black cars. Like, I don't get any other color, but for some reason it just seems a little bit too swoopy. It's not, nothing's really standing out, at least in this body style. All right, here we are at Rolls-Royce. is this, yeah, Rolls-Royce here, Bentley down here. Now this is that color for 2025. It is a kind of gray with brown in it. A little bit primary finish. I wish it was a little bit more, in my opinion, but that's kind of the color of this here. I would say maybe actually a little bit darker, but maybe no, maybe not. Maybe a little bit shinier. Not for me, but hey, I'm never going to be purchasing these cars. This one looks powerful. For me personally, I always find Bentleys and Rolls-Royces to look a little bit inflated, kind of cloudy, kind of bubbly, especially the Bentleys. And I say that unnecessarily so. Like they could have a lot of power, a lot of tech within it, but they choose to be a little bit just more bubbly, especially with the front end of their vehicles. And I remember like maybe 15 years ago, especially to a point where it just looked comical. But I think they've done a good job at kind of toning things down. You can see it kind of has a physical racing stripe going here. And this color, again, this is more about the 2025 color than that one is. Brown is in, but this is a more refined, elegant brown that you could have your slacks in and maybe a t-shirt as well. Now this one here is a little bit, I've never been a fan of this type of green. It's a little bit too like, yeah, it's not foresty, it's just not the type that I would necessarily go for. Here we have Lucid. I think we've looked at Lucid in other years too. And again, the black color is something I go for, but it really hides details. In camera, it may be finding these details a little bit better, but in person, it's giving like a little bit of a blobby sensation. It's not defining the car in a way that it should in real life, in my opinion. All right, let's move down to Acura. Oh, and that's lit up because the headlights are on. That actually must be pissing people off because literally it's shining right into their section. Okay. If I had a dog in the fight, maybe I would care, but I don't. All right, standard Acura, the all-new ADX. Not the type of blue that I'm a big fan of. Okay, now here, Acura does a really, really good angular front, which allows it to have an all-black exterior. You still find all the details in it. You can see like the ridges here on the front, all of this. It still works, and it doesn't look blobby, unlike the Rolls-Royce that we just saw here, and unlike, what was the other ones? Basically everybody who does a standard piano black where things get lost, Acura has enough angles that, yeah, you can't hide it with an all-black color. That one looks pretty good, and I like how the logo is blacked out here as well. It's nice. My voice is rough. My voice at the same time is dry, but I have like, it's gross, but it's kind of like a mucus buildup because I've been talking so long. We've been doing this for 88 minutes. I think my estimation of a 2-hour tour is going to be correct. And here we are at another, all right, so just the same as Toyota is the standard. It's a very safe brand. It's here the same with Honda. Although the way that they're lighting things up here is terrible. At least Toyota has like a much brighter kind of white palette where they're just using the standard lights here, the daylight color, and it does not, nothing's eye-catching. But again, for a safe brand, I mean, this is how you're gonna see it in real life. So I kind of assume this is why they're doing it, but in my opinion, it's lazy. It's absolutely lazy. Even their all-new Passport here, there is nothing special about it. the color in this kind of very deep bronzy orange, things and details get lost because again, there's no specific lighting on it. I mean, you're gonna see why there's a reason why we're walking through this very quickly. If you're here with your friends and family, you're not gonna stay here long. Nothing about this is eye-catching or interesting. While Toyota, again, is the standard, it's very safe. They've showcased it in a very nice way where it's visually pleasing. This is visually just boring. All right, let's see, what do we have left? We haven't done Jeep, so I think we have to walk all the way in the corner. We're gonna walk there, and I think that's where we finish. Now, most years, I forget to go down to any type of lower level. So we're gonna go to the lower level. We're gonna find that, and I think, again, that's gonna be capping us out at about 2 hours. I'm happy that this camera is still kind of stuck with us. We're using the DJI Pocket 3? Yeah, Pocket 3. We've killed a battery pack, which leads me into, we're going to put this on a little table here, and we're gonna change out this battery pack. And please do not fall over. If you fall over, I will be upset. But how has this been for everybody so far? We've seen every car, almost, except for Jeep. We still have that. We still have that to do. No Infiniti, which is odd because Infiniti always does like wine or champagne or something. It's always like really, really well done. All right, we've replaced the battery pack. And we're gonna spin on the little tripod that we have here. I don't know, I feel like we're missing something. Maybe it's on a lower level. We're gonna give this a try. I don't think I'm doing this right. Oh, there we go. Now, yeah. And it's kind of weird. I think I've been sweating a lot because as I've moved my bag, because I have a bag and I have a jacket kind of around me because they don't have coat check, unfortunately. I have this very, I don't know why I'm even saying it, because I think I'm delirious of just talking for a solid 90 minutes. I have this sweaty part on my back and it's uncomfortable and I'm not happy with it. All right, so we are here at Jeep and we may be going into a section where last year was one of the worst sections ever, but let's hope that they're fixing this a little bit here. So, at the very minimum, I don't want to get in this guy's shot here. If you're showcasing a car, have a spotlight on it. That's basic. Compared to where is, oh, we can't see Honda. Remember, even with their flagships, no spotlight. This, at least you can see this car, it stands out, it pops. So at least you have this. But for the rest of it, it actually does look standard. No, there are some spotlights. Okay, they've done at least that. Oh, actually, we're gonna be walking next to the little Hyundai track. So if we see a car go by, ooh, that's a good looking car. Kind of like a very goldish, bronzish gold. That's nice. And again, we see here, if we have any kind of like undefined car, if you have it in all black, it loses it. It becomes like a little blob, a bubble of black. Because even like the grille, the Jeep, everything kind of gets lost in it. You need to have a little bit more of an angular car, just like Acura did. Acura did that really, really well. Oh, and this is kind of interesting. Is that like a bluish black with a matte scoop? That's pretty good. I thought we moved to Dodge for a second. What is this? It is Dodge. What's the logo on the front? Oh, I saw a cute little car over there. RT Stage 1. Wait, so if you want, take a look at that, and then you can actually scan and find more information. This is such, I don't like the finish on the car, but the car itself is, I do like this. Look at that kind of just like gigantic 70s scoop. Oh, and another person has the Danny Cortez miniature, which I didn't get. Maybe I'll steal it. No, it's terrible. I like this. The finish on these cars, I think, is really well done. But here, let's go to tiny cars in the same Dodge family. But eventually we're gonna get to this tiny little car, which looks like a little baby blue Pebble. Fiats are great. I mean, if you're interested in a Fiat, that's all for you. This one is like a tennis ball. It's very cute, but look at this. If I were to buy a car, a new car in New York, this is probably what I would get. This is all I need. If it meets the safety standards that American cars need, this is all I need, because look at this. It's just you, your partner, or you and your groceries. Everything fits inside here. And we will be coming back to this, and this is called the Topolino. Topolino, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. Look at the way that the windows open and close. There is no crank, there is no anything. It's literally just a little flap. We're gonna go back here and look at this in greater detail. But look at this, does this even have, wait, does this even open? I think it does, unless I'm destroying and ripping this car. Where's this? I have no idea how to do this, but this is incredible. The size of this car is something that I would get for the city. Or maybe this, because this actually has a trunk that I can figure out. This may be a concept. We're gonna be coming back to this. Okay, let's pause here for a second. Let's see if somebody's gonna be driving their car. I don't know if they're doing it yet, but you get this little track just to try things out on, just to see if this is for you. All right, we have looked at Fiat. We have kind of dipped our toe into Dodge. What was it last year that was so poorly done? I think it was VW that didn't do any kind of showcase, and it was kind of lit as if how Honda is lit this year, which is kind of gross. But let's see, the colors that they're choosing here, even though they don't have spotlighting on these cars, that's an eye-catching color that still stands out. This is an eye-catching color that doesn't require anything. And of course they're playing music that's gonna kind of get this video claimed, so we can't even go over there. So, Macintosh. Okay, are they allowed to do that? I have no idea. All right, so we're gonna be staying away from that. I believe there is maybe a Fiat in the corner that we're missing here. Maybe it's like a historic showcase of it. By the way, if I were to get another car, truck, whatever you call it, outside of the Ford Bronco, it would be a Jeep type Wrangler, these things that you can remove the doors on. I think they look beautiful. I think they're functional. I know that they probably don't get the best gas mileage, but I would get an old Jeep. And when I say an old Jeep, maybe like a 2005 Jeep. Two-door, just something that I can beat up with big tires, something that would really, really work out. And look at that futuristic car. I wish we could get close, but I do not want to get this video claimed after we've walked around for 98 minutes. If I could, I would turn that thing off, but that's okay. We are now walking through Dodge. We're walking through particularly the Ram section, because I don't even know, it's been 20 years probably, but they've sectioned off Ram to be only for their trucks. And I mean, if you're interested in trucks, that's an interesting color there. It's kind of like a dark sand, kind of that primer material, but not exactly. I think that's pretty well done. I like that. You have your classic kind of red finish, you have your wine finish, you have the black finish. And okay, I guess we get to use the giant selfie stick again, because this is basically, I mean, there's no reason at all to do this other than we can do this. So watch this. We're gonna raise up and get this camera. Oh yeah, I forgot I have a mic on, so you can still hear me. And I kind of find it funny how, I'm gonna pull the camera back down. There's a little cleaner's rag because somebody was trying to clean the car, and like, how can we reach this all the way up here? I think it's funny. All right, we have finished what I would call the main floor of things here. So right now we are going to not miss the lower levels, and we're gonna go and kind of find that here. Oh, there's another Toyota. I do like that too. Let's see how our battery levels are. Whoa, the battery already went down 80% on the handle. That's a little bit concerning. I know we should have enough battery to do all this. It's only been 2 hours. Not even 2 hours. Okay. I think we're gonna try and angle ourselves this way. I kind of missed all this Toyota gear. I think this stuff is all for sale. I'm absolutely not gonna buy anything. Try to give my voice a little bit of a rest. So as we walk through here, I'm gonna kind of stay a little bit more quiet. Oh, I know why I didn't realize this was here. Because my favorite car is over there. Oh, they're doing some other type of presentation. So we're gonna take a look here. Oh, they're having just a little talk about things.
$4,000 cash, which was wonderful.
I smell pizza. I am getting hungry. I'm not purchasing anything from here, but I do smell pizza and I am getting hungry. All right, so we're gonna go down to the lower levels and see if there's anything interesting there. Some classic cars here before we go. And I do want to make sure that I am not getting, okay. EV test track, electric and specialty exhibits. Food? All right, so I think we're gonna go this way. So we're gonna take a look at the EV test track. We are not gonna ride in anything today. By the way, if you can see over there, that is a portion, oh, can you even see it? A Jeep is going up the giant incline. That's always fun to look at. And you can see another little roller coaster incline there outside. Okay, so we are going down here. We have a whole, oh God, we have a whole another floor to take a look at. And my voice is gone. So we're gonna see. There's a water fountain. All right, guys, you're coming with me to get some water from the water fountain. I know you could hear all that, but that was just me getting water. Nothing else happened, don't worry. All right, so the New York International Auto Show Overlander weekend. This is more of just like your standard lighting, standard, maybe modification vehicles. It's another big floor. I'm gonna try and go through this a little bit more quickly than I did the other. So actually, I need to readjust my jacket. Give me a moment. I'm still kind of pissed that I did not get the Danny Cortez miniature, because I think that would be really cool. but not this year. All right, I think we are all set up. We are now looking at a vehicle with a skeleton inside. And these are classic vehicles, just kept in different ways, modified. What is this? Overlander Weekend. What brand? These are just, I don't know what brand that is. The Ineos Grenadier. Okay. All right, we're gonna walk. We're just gonna walk. Maybe we're not gonna talk as much because it does seem quiet in here, like a library. But if you're a fan of camping and outdoorsy things, do not forget to come to the lower level. This thing is huge.
It's different. Like, so it's
This is gigantic.
So my dad looks like a mobster, but my mom.
It's called the Epic, and of course it's called the Epic. Look at this thing. Oh, and we have the test track. This is a big portion here. Okay, so this is not as big as I thought, but wait, let's see. Yeah, this car is coming here. So they're not going as fast as you think. This is just like when you're in a parking garage and everything is smooth. The screech of the tires is basically, if you go at 2 miles per hour and make a right turn, it is that. It's that. So again, we have the EV test track. We have customized cars. We have this gigantic thing. Look at how incredibly big that is. Storyteller GXJ Epic. I will be looking that up and I will be seeing exactly how big and how much that costs. And these are just custom cars. I believe he's setting up lighting either to do a video or some kind of photography, but look at the details here. It's a cute little car. See, this is like where black loses the details. I know this is like a 90s car, but I do not think that a matte black finish on this gives it anything, because look at this. Well, I know this is a more angular car, but my God, look at the look at how pristine this car is. That's beautiful. It's a car that I'd normally not be interested in at all, and they've made it so shiny that I'm like, I can't take my eyes off of this. And I believe down here, yeah, that's the current NYPD crossover SUV that we have. And then we have like some classic, I think NYPD specific vehicles. We have Porsche and other little things here. I was like, I smell something smoking, but it's the tires. It's literally the tires. Look at this. City of New York, police. That's classic. I never knew it came in green. I don't know if that's kind of like their interpretation or if that's what they've chosen. I remember this from movies. I remember seeing this in real life. And then you'll see the vehicles on the other side are more of like what is currently going on right now. Oh, it's a Chevy. I always thought it was a Ford. No, the Ford's that one over there. Let's just see. It has to be Ford. Yeah, that is a Ford. Oh, it's the Mach-E variant. Yeah. Now these are what we have as current for the NYPD. This and this, I have not seen this one. But these two I have seen on the street. All right, we're gonna get a little close to the EV track. If you wanna buy that Toyota, you can buy that Toyota. Let's see. I wish we could kind of get close to the cars, but I know we're not going to be able to do that. So just know that if you want to come here, you can. And it's Chevy, it's Ford, it's Kia, it's Jeep, it's Dodge, it's Cadillac, and maybe some others. Am I missing something? Something that I can't see because there's a pillar in front of it. Kia? Did I say Kia? It's also there. Anyway, so that's more or less of what you can expect here. It's a little bit more toned down, a little bit more quiet. It's more custom and like a little bit more out there. So if you're interested, do not forget that there is a lower level here that you should probably check out. It's interesting. You're coming here, you're paying for a ticket, you might as well come down here. It's exciting. So what we're gonna do here to end this long video is we're gonna go outside, we're gonna check out Jeep, we're gonna extend the selfie tripod, and well, they're not gonna yell at us, but we're gonna kind of get close to the Jeeps as they go over the gigantic ridge, which I think is gonna be kind of fun to see. Do they block this exit off? No, the door's open. All right, so we're gonna go and check this out. And that'll be at the end of the long, long video, which 1 hour and 12 minutes so far. All right. So I do want to see, okay, we have a Jeep coming. Oh wait, there's music too. This music is, I swear if this gets claimed, I'll be upset. So we're not staying out here for long. We're just kind of taking a look at this. We're seeing the guy here in the Jeep go. I'm trying to talk over this music as much as I can. That looks like fun. We are not staying out here because that music will get claimed. That music really snuck up on me. That was annoying. Oh, look at these cute little cars. All right, so we have seen everything. Actually, I think there's more. We're gonna walk to this little map. If you want to see everything, you definitely can. I think we missed the Crystal Palace and the River Pavilion. If that's something you find interesting, let me know. But this is our main floor. This is where we started everything with. Level 3. Oh, the Crystal Palace is just concessions. We kind of looked at that for a second. The North Concourse. Level 1, which is what we just saw over there with the EV test track. And the River Pavilion. This area is open Saturday 19th through the 27th. And that's it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for bearing with me for this. Oh wait, so if it's been, I don't know, it's been 114 minutes long, very long video. And now we have to look at some of the most interesting cars individually. But thank you so much for watching. This has been fun. If you're here for the public days, they begin on the 18th. So definitely come and check it out at the Javits Center in Midtown Manhattan. If you have any comments or questions, put in the comment section below. Don't forget I'm on Instagram and Threads at M8B9. You can email me at creativenyc2025@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.